She banged on my door like she owned the place and shouted, "You need to hand over your garage key right now. HOA rules." I just stared at her, holding like coffee, wondering if she was serious. "This is my property," I said slowly. "You don't get to demand that." But she smirked and held up a paper with a big red stamp across the top. "Violation notice," she snapped. "You signed away your rights when you moved here." I took the paper. He was printed on cheap office paper, no signatures, no official stamp, nothing but a fake logo at the top. "This isn't real," I told her, and her face went red. "Open the garage or I'll have you removed," she hissed. That's when I noticed her phone already in her hand, thumb hovering over 911. I could feel my blood boiling, but I kept my voice calm. "You're trespassing. I suggest you leave." She laughed in my face. "You don't even know who you're talking to." I sighed, walked to the garage, and pressed the button. The door creaked open slowly, the morning light spilling inside. She leaned forward, trying to peek in, and then suddenly she gasped, like she'd seen a crime scene. "Oh my God!" she screamed, backing up. "You can't have this here! This is illegal!" Before I could even speak, she hit the call button on her phone and yelled into the receiver, "Send the police right now! He's hiding something dangerous in his garage!" I froze. I knew exactly what she was talking about, and if the cops came without me explaining first, everything could turn upside down. The sirens came faster than I expected, echoing down the street like some kind of parade for her. Karen stood at the edge of my driveway, waving her arms like she'd caught a criminal. "Over here! Over here!" she shouted, pointing straight at me. Two officers stepped out of the cruiser, hands resting on their belts, eyes cautious. "He's got illegal equipment in his garage," she said dramatically, like she was auditioning for a TV show. "I demand you search it now." One of the officers turned to me. "Sir, can you explain what's going on?" I raised my hands slightly, keeping calm. "This woman has been trespassing on my property, harassing me, and now she's making false accusations. That garage," I pointed behind me, "it's mine. Everything inside is mine. Nothing illegal about it." Karen cut me off, screeching, "Don't believe him. He's lying. I've lived here for 20 years, and people like him think they can just do whatever they want." The officer frowned. "Ma'am, do you live at this address?" "No," she admitted, puffing herself up, "but I'm on the HOA board. That gives me authority here." I couldn't help but laugh, which only made her madder. "Authority?" I said. "Funny thing is, there is no HOA here. This neighborhood voted it out 2 years ago." The officers exchanged glances. Karen's face drained of color, but she recovered fast. "He's dangerous. Look in the garage. You'll see." The officer looked back at me. "Sir, would you mind showing us what's inside?" I nodded slowly. I had nothing to hide, except one thing that nobody here knew about me. I walked back to the garage with the cops right behind me. Karen was practically bouncing on her heels, whispering, "You're finished! You're done!" like she was about to win some kind of trophy. The garage door was already halfway open, so I lifted it the rest of the way. Inside, under a tarp, was the one thing that always caused trouble whenever anyone saw it: my military gear. Not junk, not stolen, but the equipment I had kept when I came back home after serving overseas. The tactical vest, the helmets, the training weapons, all legally mine. Karen gasped so loud it echoed. "See, I told you! He's running some kind of militia!" The officer stepped forward, eyes sharp but calm. "Sir, why do you have all this?" I looked him straight in the eye. "Because I served. 10 years. Special response team. This is mine, and every piece is registered." Karen burst out laughing like I had told a bad joke. "Don't listen to him. Nobody like him could ever be military. He's making it up." That's when I reached into the box by the shelf and pulled out my service ID, still laminated, still sharp as the day it was issued. I handed it to the officer. He studied it for a moment, then nodded slowly. Karen's smile dropped.
No, that can't be real. The officer turned to her. Ma'am, do you realize calling 911 with false accusations is a crime, especially when it involves law enforcement resources? She started stuttering, pointing at me again. But he's dangerous. The second officer, who had been quiet until now, leaned closer and said, or maybe you just picked the wrong guy to mess with.
Karen's voice cracked as she tried to spin the story back in her favor. You don't understand. He threatened me. He told me if I didn't give him my key, he'd hurt me. The officer narrowed his eyes. You told us he had illegal weapons. Now you're saying he threatens you. Which one is it? I folded my arms, keeping my tone steady. She showed up at my house, demanding my garage key, said it was an HOA rule. There is no HOA. When I refused, she called you with the fake emergency. Karen stomped her foot like a child. You don't get it. People like him don't belong here. This is a family neighborhood. He's dangerous. I could see the neighbors now, peeking out from behind curtains, some even stepping onto their porches. Whispers spread fast. Someone across the street said loudly, There isn't an HOA anymore. We voted it out. Karen froze. Her audience was turning against her. The officer lifted his radio. Dispatch, can you confirm this neighborhood? Does it currently have an active HOA association? Static, then a reply. Negative. HOA dissolved, case closed 2 years ago. The officer's eyes locked on her. So, you've been impersonating an HOA board member? Her jaw dropped. No, this is a mistake! That's when my phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out and opened the security camera app. I turned the screen toward the officers, showing them the footage, her slipping a fake violation notice onto my door that morning, then banging on it and demanding the garage key. Her voice was clear in the audio. I have authority here, and you'll regret this. The officer stared at the screen. Karen's face went pale. The taller officer let out a slow whistle. That's pretty clear evidence, ma'am. Karen's hands shook as she reached for her phone. You don't get it. I was just trying to protect the community. People like him bring trouble. I couldn't help but laugh under my breath. Protect the community by breaking into people's garages? By pretending to be an HOA that doesn't exist? The second officer stepped forward. Ma'am, put the phone down. But she didn't. Instead, she lifted it to her ear and shouted, Backup! I need backup right now! He's dangerous! He's got military weapons! Send more units! The officers glanced at each other in disbelief. Who are you even calling? One asked. Karen spun in a panic. I know people in law enforcement. They'll come. You'll see. And almost as if on cue, a black SUV pulled around the corner, stopping fast in front of my driveway. 2 men in uniform stepped out, but something was off. Their badges looked cheap, their gear mismatched. Karen's face lit up. There they are! Arrest him! Take his weapons! He's not allowed here! But the officers stiffened immediately. The taller one's hand went to his radio. Those aren't our units. The fake cops started walking toward us, hands resting on holsters. My heart thumped. Neighbors gasped, recording on their phones. Karen smirked like she'd already won. Now you'll see what real authority looks like. But what she didn't know was that I recognized those men.